What if the biggest Christian holiday is the one we question the least? What if not celebrating Christmas isn't a rejection of Jesus, but a protection of something deeper, truth worship and conscience? Many assume Christmas is universally embraced by all who love Christ. Yet there is a community whose faith is loud, devoted, and scripture-driven, and still their December tells a different story. Not because they doubt the birth of Jesus, but because they question the assumption that tradition equals divine instruction. Here is the twist: a sacred event can be true without the celebration of the event being commanded as a sacred rule. Emotion can be meaningful without proving transformation. Participation can be popular without being examined by principle. So we confront the real question with honesty and respect. If not celebrating Christmas doesn't mean rejecting Christ, then what truth are they standing guard for? And now we step past the surface of tradition into the deeper story where worship meets motive and faith meets identity. Many Seventh-day Adventist believers approach the Christmas season with a lens shaped not by culture, but by scriptural authority. When they read the nativity accounts in Matthew and Luke, they see the majesty of the Incarnation, God entering human history, clothed in humility, beginning the work of redemption. Yet they also observe a striking detail. Scripture records Christ's birth, but never instructs the Church to commemorate it annually as a mandated holy day. In Adventist theology, worship practices are defined by explicit divine instruction, not assumption. Baptism is instituted by command. The Lord's Supper is given with direction. Do this in remembrance of me. The Sabbath stands as a covenant sign. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. These are not human deductions. These are practices rooted in revelation, preserved by the early apostolic community, and carried forward by obedience. But when it comes to celebrating Christ's birth on a fixed calendar date, Adventists note a profound silence. No command to establish a feast, no liturgical formula, and no affirmed birth date given by God Himself. This leads them to an essential theological distinction. Description is not the same as prescription. The Bible describes events. The Bible mandates practices, and in their reading, Christmas falls into the realm of tradition, not biblical ordinance. To illustrate this, consider a simple analogy often used in American rhetoric. The Bible is the constitution of faith, while tradition is commentary on faith. Commentary can inspire, guide, or enrich, but it cannot be treated as constitutional law. When commentary begins to function like law, when people assume a celebration is required for holiness, Adventists argue that the celebration must be tested against the revealed word, not popular consensus. This conviction is not merely academic, it's practical. One person may fill December with religious sentiment, but live January through November with little reflection of Christ's humility. Another may not observe December 25th, yet open the Gospels weekly, serve quietly, pray for neighbors, and live a life shaped by principle rather than seasonal rhythm. In American debate style, Adventists would ask, which one reflects authentic worship? The one who honors a tradition, or the one whose life honors Christ? Their concern deepens when they examine human nature. They argue that symbols are never neutral. What matters is the power we give them. When a symbol becomes central, it shapes identity. When tradition becomes expected, it shapes conscience. And when conscience is shaped by expectation rather than revelation, Christ may be remembered in words but sidelined in authority. So Adventists do not reject the importance of Christ's birth, but they resist the assumption that a specific day or set of customs carries automatic spiritual legitimacy. Their posture echoes a core American Protestant instinct. Faith must be personal, grounded, examined, and lived, not inherited, untested. Their message challenges the broader Christian world not to diminish joy, but to elevate clarity. They believe the greatest risk is not that people celebrate Christ's birth, but that they may believe celebrating it a certain way is what makes them faithful. And from their perspective, faithfulness is not seasonal, it is covenantal, continual and demonstrable through obedience. And this brings them to the heart of the matter expressed in a distinctly American cadence. Jesus was born in humility. He lived in sacrifice. He asks for loyalty, not imitation. If we remember his birth, let us first remember his lordship. Seventh-day Adventist believers don't reject the reality of Christ entering the world. What they reject is the assumption that a calendar date chosen by history carries the same authority as a command chosen by God. When they examine the New Testament, they find a consistent pattern. Christ institutes memorials tied to salvation, not birthdays. The Sabbath is commanded, baptism is commissioned, communion is instructed. His birth is proclaimed, but never assigned a recurring feast day by divine mandate. That absence matters, not as a weakness but as evidence. Evidence that the Bible prioritizes meaning over date, obedience over spectacle, covenant over ceremony. Now consider the historical data itself. December 25th became a dominant cultural marker because it sat in a season already filled with human longing for light renewal, hope, and cosmic symbolism. A season where festivals shaped the emotional rhythm of society long before Christian theology shaped the date. Adventists don't need to claim every symbol is wrong to make their point. Their point is simpler and sharper. If God never anchored Christ's birth to a sacred date, then no tradition has the right to judge conscience by a sacred date. A helpful illustration spoken like a true American debater would: a national event can be historic without becoming a national law. A sacred event can be divine without becoming a mandated holiday. That's their lens. Logical, text-driven, principle-driven. And then comes the deeper layer, the one beneath the surface of dates and festivals. The real concern isn't December 25th itself. It's this question: what happens in the human heart when a celebration becomes louder than devotion? Picture this scenario. Two believers both say they love Jesus. One celebrates him in December, but forgets his humility by February. The other may not observe December 25th, yet opens the Gospels weekly, serves quietly in schools and neighborhoods, and lives the spirit of the manger all year long. Adventist theology asks the question Americans love to wrestle with: are we celebrating Jesus, or are we celebrating the season that celebrates us? Because here is the real twist, the real reversal of assumptions. A festival can mention Christ and still move the heart away from Christ. If the heart is moved more by emotion than truth, emotion fades, tradition shifts. But Christ does not. He is not a seasonal figure. He is not a cultural mascot. He is the center only when he remains Lord of every ordinary day, not just a symbol of one extraordinary day. So many Adventists choose restraint, not rejection, separation, not cynicism, discernment, not assimilation. They step back from conventional celebration because they fear something far more dangerous than a misunderstood date. They fear a generation growing up thinking Christmas equals faith. Because if Christmas ever loses its emotional magic, faith might be assumed lost with it. And they refuse to let Christ be tied to a cultural timeline instead of a divine lifeline. And that leads us forward naturally, smoothly, inevitably into the next unveiling. History gives us context. Worship reveals motive. But now we must expose the next question. How did materialism reshape a holy message into a global marketplace? For many Seventh-day Adventists, the hesitation around Christmas is not about the birth of Jesus, but about the direction the heart takes during and after the season. Scripture honors the incarnation as God stepping into human history, yet it never elevates that moment into a commanded annual festival. That biblical silence becomes a starting point for reflection, not rejection. Adventist thinkers look at the unfiltered evidence of modern religious behavior and see a pattern worth questioning. The world often prepares for Christmas like it is the center of faith, not just a chapter of faith. The energy invested in lights, gifts, and presentation can overshadow the quieter, less visible practices that define true discipleship: prayer, obedience, humility, and service in ordinary days. Their argument is rooted in a simple truth spoken with clarity. Emotion can introduce admiration, but obedience reveals allegiance. A celebration that stirs the heart for a moment is meaningful, but a celebration that fails to reshape the heart afterward risks becoming a spiritual substitute, where the season becomes the focus and Christ becomes the symbol that legitimizes the focus. Consider the contrast. A young believer may sing about the manger with sincerity, moved to tears under candlelight. Yet months later, when conflict rises in school, home, or friendship, forgiveness becomes difficult. Patience runs thin, humility disappears, and compassion waits for the next emotional wave. December marked emotion. The rest of the year marked the real trend line of the soul. And the heart, when graphed honestly, shows stimulation, not always transformation. This leads to a critical distinction. Adventists often emphasize remembering Christ is not the same as reflecting Christ. The story of his birth is sacred, but the imitation of his character is the true act of worship. When a celebration doesn't push believers into deeper discipleship, it can unintentionally feed self-focus, comparison, performance, pressure, gratification, image, applause, disguised in religious aesthetics. The questions they raise are not loud, but piercing. If the season ended in silence, would your faith still stand without the soundtrack? If the holiday vanished, would Christ still be central the next morning? Did December 25th deepen your character, or just decorate your devotion? Are you honoring Christ, or honoring the moment that lets you feel like you are honoring Christ? Their concern is that many believers may begin to believe that faith peaks when the season peaks, instead of understanding that faith is proven when the season fades. The deeper danger is not the celebration, but the quiet drift that happens when tradition replaces examination and emotion replaces transformation. And so they invite us to step forward into the next layer of reflection, not to abandon joy, but to reclaim its purpose. The truest celebration of Christ is not built into one date, but carried forward in every date. A faith that isn't daily will eventually become display only, but a faith that is daily will shine even when the world turns off the lights. Many Seventh-day Adventists choose not to celebrate Christmas the conventional way, not because they deny Jesus, but because they want to honor him without distraction. Their faith calls them to worship built on Scripture, not pressure, identity, not imitation, devotion, not seasonal momentum. But now I want to turn the question to you, the viewer. That's the historical data. That's the theological argument. But what about you? What do you think? Do you see Christmas as a spiritual anchor, a cultural echo, or something in between? Do your celebrations draw you into humility or pull you into the rush of the season itself? And here's what I personally believe: Christ doesn't ask to be the highlight of one day. He asks to be the center of every day. The manger was humble. The mission was eternal. And faith is strongest when it lasts longer than the season that inspires it. If this message made you pause and think, then you're already doing something powerful. You're examining your faith, not just experiencing it. And that's the kind of journey we love to take together here. If you feel the same, consider subscribing, not because it's expected, but because you want to keep asking the deeper questions. No pressure, no show, just a quiet invitation to walk further into truth together. So let me ask you one more thing before you go. This is history, but what's your heart telling you about it today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Challenge us. Question us. Tell us where you stand. Well read, reflect, and learn from what you share. Your voice matters here. We listen, we grow, we adjust together. Because faith isn't measured by a season. It's proven by a life.